You have been lied to about the nature of money. Society, wrapped in moral platitudes and comforting myths, trains you to believe that money is merely a medium of exchange, a harmless tool for consumption, or worse, the root of all evil. They tell you it exists to buy pleasure, comfort, and symbols of status, meant to impress people whose respect holds no value. This is the civilian's view of the world, the view of the sheep, not the shepherd. Look instead through the lens of power, through the cold, unblinking eyes of Machiavelli, and the truth reveals itself. Money is not a currency. Money is a weapon. Within the brutal architecture of human hierarchy, money is the distance between your will and the will of others. It is the wall that separates sovereignty from coercion. Without it, you are not a citizen, you are a subject. Subject to a boss's mood, the market's chaos, the tyranny of debt, and the mercy of those who control your survival. Machiavelli warned us 5 centuries ago, a ruler who relies on the arms of others is never safe. He who cannot defend himself is destined to be conquered. In the modern world, your sword and shield are not forged from steel, they are forged from capital. Most people walk through life defenseless, naked on a battlefield. They refuse to acknowledge reality. They believe obedience will earn fairness, that virtue will be rewarded, that the system cares. This is a fatal hallucination. The world is not fair, it is indifferent. It respects force and exploits weakness. When you are financially vulnerable, you have no leverage. You cannot say no, you cannot walk away, you cannot protect those you love from the grinding machinery of the system. You are forced to smile at insults, tolerate disrespect, and trade your finite time for the bare minimum required to survive. That is not life. That is slow, polite suffocation. To understand money as a weapon, you must first kill the consumer inside you. The system keeps you weak by keeping you hungry for things you do not need. It invents voids in your soul and sells you products as substitutes for power. It sells you the illusion of status so you surrender the real thing. Every dollar spent to impress a stranger is a bullet removed from your own magazine. The strategist does not seek to look rich, he seeks to be untouchable. He understands that every unit of capital is a soldier in his army, a brick in his fortress, a codified unit of freedom. Machiavelli observed that men forget the death of their father sooner than the loss of their patrimony. He understood that beneath civilization lies primal territorial instinct. For millions of years, resources meant survival. Nothing has changed, only the complexity of the battlefield. The jungle has become the economy. The predators now wear suits and write contracts. If you do not possess the weapon of money, you are prey. This is why your relationship with wealth must change. Stop desiring money for what it can buy. Start desiring it for what it can prevent. Money kills humiliation. It shields against misfortune. It buys distance from desperation. When you possess a war chest, resources you do not touch, you move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who is armed among the unarmed. You do not need to fire the weapon. The knowledge that it exists alters your posture, your eye contact, your voice. Machiavelli described fortune as a violent river, unpredictable, destructive. You cannot stop the flood, but you can build dams before it comes. Money is that dam. It is engineered safety in a chaotic world. To live paycheck to paycheck is to sleep on the riverbank without a barrier, gambling that the rain never falls. The rain always falls. Crisis is not an exception. It is a certainty. To be unprepared is not misfortune, it is negligence. When you see money as a weapon, you stop apologizing for wanting it. You stop listening to the weak who shame ambition. They call it greed because they do not understand war. In a world of finite resources, you either accumulate enough to dictate your reality, or you are dictated to. There is no neutral ground. There is no middle ground. The middle ground is a myth invented to keep the masses docile, obedient, and productive. Machiavelli taught that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Applied to your financial life, this means it is better to be respected for your independence than liked for your generosity. A man who gives away his power to be liked ends up empty and despised. A man who withholds his power until he is secure commands respect. The world does not respect the beggar, even if the beggar is a saint. It respects the king, even if the king is ruthless. Why? Because the king has the capacity to impose consequences. Money grants that capacity. It gives you the power to reward allies, punish enemies, or ignore them entirely, which is the most devastating punishment of all. You must understand this clearly. Your poverty is not a virtue. It is a breach in your armor, a vulnerability your enemies will exploit. And do not deceive yourself into thinking you have no enemies. If you truly have none, it is likely because you possess nothing worth taking. The moment you begin to rise, the moment you begin accumulating this weapon, you will witness the true nature of those around you. You will see who is loyal and who was merely attached to your weakness. The most insidious lie ever told is that money cannot buy freedom. In reality, money is the only thing that buys freedom. Without it, your time belongs to another. Your energy belongs to a corporation, a client, or a master who sees you as a line item on a spreadsheet, a depreciating asset to be extracted until exhaustion. When you are financially dependent, you are not a free agent. You are a mercenary fighting someone else's war, often for a cause you do not believe in, against enemies you do not hate. This is spiritual prostitution. You sell irreplaceable hours of your life simply to earn the right to exist in shelter you do not own. Machiavelli warned that a ruler must avoid, at all costs, becoming despised. There is nothing more contemptible in the eyes of a ruthless world than a man without options. When you have no options, your morality becomes theoretical. You may believe you are principled, but if your employer demands that you violate those principles under threat of starvation, you will bend, you will rationalize, you will comply. The man without money has no capacity for virtue because he has no capacity for refusal. True morality requires the power to say no. That power is printed on banknotes. Observe negotiation closely. Most people negotiate from fear. They need the deal. They need the raise. They need the job. That need has a scent, a pheromone of submission the powerful detect instantly. When you negotiate from necessity, you are not bargaining, you are begging. Now contrast this with the man who has built his weapon. He sits at the table with the calm indifference of a predator who has already eaten. He does not need the deal. He does not need approval. He can stand, shake hands, and walk away without his pulse rising by a single beat. That man is terrifying. He commands the highest price because he signals that he cannot be bought, only rented at a premium. This is the strategic advantage of the war chest you build. It is not merely savings, it is a psychological nuclear deterrent. It alters the energy of every room you enter. When you know you can survive for 5 years without working, the petty tyrants of the workplace lose all power over you. Their threats become absurd. Their intimidation dissolves on contact. You become unmanageable in the best possible way, immune to coercion, guided solely by reason and self-interest. You cease to be a cog. You become a player. However, a warning is necessary. Machiavelli cautioned that visible power invites conspiracy. As you sharpen this weapon, you must master concealment. The greatest mistake of the nouveau riche is the compulsion to display armor, loud cars, flashy watches, excessive estates. These are not symbols of power, they are targets. This is tactical suicide. Real power is silent. Real wealth is obscure. The objective is to be heavy with gold but light in appearance. You must move like a submarine, submerged, unseen, carrying force capable of reshaping the terrain, surfacing only by choice. If the world knows exactly what you possess, it knows exactly how to break you. It knows your price. But when your resources are hidden, when your war chest is a mystery, you become an enigma, and the human mind fears and respects what it cannot decode. Be the grey man, appear ordinary while possessing extraordinary leverage. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe you are struggling alongside them, scraping by, while in silence you are constructing the empire that will one day own the ground beneath their feet. This accumulation demands a cold, disciplined resolve that most people do not possess. You must reject the consumerist programming that equates spending with living. Every time you purchase a liability, you hand your sword to the enemy. You exchange future freedom for present dopamine. It is a terrible trade. The warrior of finance understands that the greatest luxury is not a brand name. It is autonomy, It is the ability to wake each morning and ask, what do I choose to do today, instead of what must I do to survive? The world will attempt to seduce you into weakness. It will offer you credit, easy payments, and social approval for being a compliant consumer. See these offers for what they are: traps. Debt is the modern form of indentured servitude. It is a chain you forge yourself, link by link, with every swipe of the card. A man in debt has sold his future to pay for his past. He is a time traveler trapped in an endless loop of obligation. Machiavelli would look upon the modern debtor with both pity and contempt, seeing a prince who has voluntarily handed the keys of his city to a besieging army. To wield money as a weapon, you must free yourself from the fear of losing it. And the only way to do that is to possess enough of it that losing a skirmish does not cost you the war. At that point, you stop playing not to lose and begin playing to win. The shift is subtle but absolute. The defensive player protects his pieces. The offensive player sacrifices them to gain position. But you cannot sacrifice what you do not have. You cannot speculate. You cannot invest. You cannot take calculated risks if a single error would leave you homeless. Money purchases the right to make mistakes. It buys recovery time. It buys the second, third, and fourth chances the poor are never afforded. The world is forgiving to the rich and merciless to the poor. This is not a moral judgment. It is a mechanical reality. Gravity pulls hardest at the bottom. To escape that gravity, you need fuel. Money is that fuel. Without it, you never reach escape velocity. You fall back down, crushed beneath the weight of your own existence. This truth is brutal, and it makes the weak uncomfortable. They will call you cynical. They will accuse you of obsession. Let them. Their opinions are the rustling of leaves. Your reality is the stone that endures. While they debate the morality of poverty, you are building the capacity for sovereignty. Machiavelli understood that when the crowds disperse, the applause fades, and the night grows quiet, a man is left only with what he controls. If you control nothing, you are nothing. But money as a weapon is not only defensive, it is offensive, not through violence but through intent. It allows you to impose order upon chaos. With capital, you shape your environment. You move away from danger. You purchase silence. You buy superior education, superior legal defense, superior medical care. You are literally purchasing a higher probability of survival and success for your bloodline. To refuse this, to choose mediocrity out of fear or laziness, it's a betrayal of your potential and a failure of duty to those who depend on you. Consider virtue as Machiavelli understood it, not moral goodness but effectiveness, strength, and force of will. The virtuous man imposes his form upon the world. Today, capital is the primary instrument of virtue. It is the lever long enough to move the earth. If you have a vision, a dream, a desire to change something, but lack the resources to fund it, you are only a dreamer, a ghost shouting into a hurricane. Back that vision with capital, and you become a force of nature. Your ideas gain mass. Your will becomes tangible. This is why the pursuit of wealth is a spiritual discipline for the Machiavellian. It demands the suppression of impulse, the mastery of patience, and the cultivation of foresight. You must become a long-term strategist in a short-term world. While others are distracted by entertainment, you study the mechanics of value. While others sleep, you sharpen your blade. This is not greed. It is self-actualization. You cannot fully become who you are meant to be if you are forever shrinking to fit a space design. D to contain you, defined by your lack of funds. The world respects the man who can walk away. I repeat this because it is the fundamental axiom of power. The ability to walk away from a bad deal, a bad relationship, a bad job, or a bad situation is the ultimate superpower. But you cannot walk away if you have nowhere to go and nothing to eat. Money provides both the destination and the provisions. It transforms the terrifying void of the unknown into a calculated risk. It converts "I have to stay" into "I choose to leave." When you begin to see money through this lens, you stop wasting it on trivialities. You realize that purchasing a depreciating asset is the same as disarming yourself in the middle of a battle. Why would you trade an entire battalion, your dollars, For a piece of plastic that will be worthless in a year, you stop consuming your ammunition. You begin to hoard it. You invest it where it multiplies. You deploy money to capture more money. You become a conqueror of value. This is the mindset of the empire builder. He does not eat his harvest, he plants it. Machiavelli warned that men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack. Then, once secure, they turn outward. This is the natural progression. First, you use money to build your fortress, your emergency reserves, your debt-free position, your insurance, your perimeter. You make yourself unassailable. Once that wall is solid, you expand. You use capital to acquire assets, equity, and the labor of others. You shift from defense to offense. You stop working for money and force money to work for you. This is the transition from subject to prince, but beware the trap of ego. As your weapon grows, the temptation to wield it carelessly increases. You will want to display it. You will want to prove to those who doubted you that you have won. Resist this urge. It is the vanity of the fool. The true master of power enjoys the private knowledge of his strength. He does not require applause. He understands that the moment power is fully revealed, challenges emerge. Keep your weapon sheathed, but keep your hand on the hilt. Let them wonder, let them guess. Uncertainty is a weapon as potent as gold itself. In this arena, there are no referees, only consequences. The market does not care about your emotions. It does not care about your excuses. It rewards competence and punishes ignorance without mercy. If you are ignorant of the laws of money, you will be punished regardless of your moral character. Ignorance is not innocence. It is a death sentence. Therefore, you must study money with the seriousness of a general studying terrain. You must understand interest, leverage, equity, taxation, and risk. These are the coordinates of the battlefield. If you cannot read the map, you will perish in the trenches. Ultimately, the accumulation of this weapon allows you to purchase the only commodity that truly matters: time. The poor sell their time to buy survival. The middle class sells their time to buy comfort. The powerful use money to buy back their time. This is the hierarchy of existence. When you reclaim your time, you reclaim your life. You are no longer a renewable resource for the industrial machine. You become a sovereign entity. You can sit in stillness, doing nothing, and that stillness is not laziness. It is divinity. To wake up knowing your day belongs to you is the victory Machiavelli sought. It is the freedom to act, or not act, according to your own reason, not the necessity imposed by another. Do not mistake this philosophy for greed. Greed is a bottomless pit. It is weakness. This is a call to sufficiency and dominion. There exists a number, a precise amount of armor, that renders you immune to the petty humiliations of the world. Find that number. Reach it. Beyond that point, everything else becomes a game. You stop working because you must and start creating because you can. You move from the realm of necessity into the realm of possibility. This is the alchemy of power, transforming the base metal of labor into the gold of freedom. But you must accept being misunderstood. The world will not celebrate your withdrawal from its consumerist cult. They will call you cheap when you refuse to spend, aloof when you refuse the rat race, arrogant when you no longer seek validation. Wear these labels as medals. They are the confused sounds of sheep watching the wolf walk away from the herd. The sheep needs the flock. The wolf needs only his strength and his mind. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you truly are, really are." Let your public face remain one of polite ambiguity. Play the game when required. Smile, nod, shake hands. But internally stay detached. Understand that your true security does not reside in their approval, but in the bank account they cannot see. This private knowledge erects a barrier between you and them. It shields your soul from the corrosion of conformity. You exist in the world, but you are not of it. You are a spy among the desperate, observing their panic with the calm of a man who has already secured his exit. If you fail to arm yourself, do not curse the system. The system is functioning exactly as designed. It extracts value from the many and concentrates it into the hands of the few. It is a machine. You cannot negotiate with a machine. You can only learn to operate it or be crushed beneath it. By refusing to master money, you volunteer to become fuel. You choose the role of victim in a story where you could have been the protagonist. History is written by the victors. And in the modern era, victors are those who capitalized. So examine your bank account today. Do not look at it with shame. Do not look at it with guilt. Look at it with cold, analytical detachment. That number is your health bar. It is your ammunition count. It is the measurable distance between you and the abyss. If it is low, do not despair. Despair is the refuge of the weak. Instead, become angry. Let a cold, disciplined rage snap you awake. Recognize that you have been walking through a war zone without armor, and decide that this ends now. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Cut the excess from your life. Starve distractions, feed the war chest. Every dollar you save is a mercenary hired to fight for your freedom. Every investment you make is a fortress raised against chaos. You are not saving for a rainy day, you are arming yourself for a storm that never ends. The world is hard, it is indifferent to your suffering. It will crush you without hesitation if you are soft. So do not be soft, be expensive, be fortified, be dangerous. Machiavelli would tell you that the greatest sin is not evil, but helplessness. To be helpless is immoral, because you lack the power to protect yourself or anything you value. Money removes helplessness. It grants you agency. It gives you the ability to become a force, good, bad, or indifferent by choice. But first, you must possess power. End your dependence. Build your arsenal. Silence your ego. Walk through the fire of discipline until you emerge forged in gold and steel. The world belongs to the armed. Money is your weapon. Pick it up, load it, and never, ever put it down.